Thanks for tuning in to Advice from a Wife from the Black Millennial Wives. I'm Jet.
And I'm Avis.
Okay, so our question for today comes from Ghost. I've been dating this guy for about 4 months and everything has been great. Crazy great. But he will never go into detail about his job. Am I tripping? I mean, he might be a drug dealer. I want to respect the boundaries because we aren't official, but I don't want to grow to like someone deeper who's living a double life. I'm not going to lie. That's facts. Old buddy could be a drug dealer.
Or he could be a doctor. I think that's wild that she would even say he could be. Why would she even think it? Something had to have happened for her to go there. Now, it could have been something that he did, or some trauma that she's been through in her life to automatically assume that this brother would, and we don't even know if you're a brother, to assume that this man is a drug dealer. He could be a billionaire and just don't want to tell you he's a billionaire because he's dealt with gold diggers before. But you want to put drug dealer on it.
She said he could be a drug dealer. And all I'm doing is agreeing that old buddy could be a drug dealer. We don't know. But I will say, in all seriousness, let's not jump to conclusions. That's a very big conclusion. But I think it's dangerous when we get into that zone of like, oh, well, he's not doing this, so this might be the case. We really don't know the case. And if you truly desire knowing what his career is, and he hasn't, I guess you're saying that he just hasn't told you himself what he does for a career choice. But if you're truly that interested, during dinner in a very casual conversation, start talking about your job, bring up, hey, what do you do for work? Or, just in a casual way. So you're not doing 21 questions and interrogating the young man. But share about your career, share about your business and things like that. And maybe, just open up the floor for him to tell you. Now, if he chooses not to tell you, that's honestly his business. He could choose not to tell you. There's been episodes of the Black Millennial Wife where our sister Avis has said, I'm not telling you information before it's time for you to know. So, it could be that way for him and he's just not ready to talk about it. And honestly, I think that I do hate when people's first question is, what do you do? Like, just in general, when you're talking to somebody or you meet somebody and their only question or their first thing that they ask you is, what do you do? Like, let's find other get to know you questions that are common enough for people to ask than besides, what do you do? That's just my opinion.
Okay. I disagree with Jet, but that is not new. I think if you want to know something, you should just simply ask. You don't have to tee it up with, oh, well, I do this. Just ask, hey, what do you do for a living? I'm just curious. And if he does not tell you, which I guess is well within his rights, he does not have to tell you, you then need to decide whether you are going to move forward or not, because you don't have to. Like, just because he don't want to tell you don't mean you got to deal with it. And you can say, hey, well, that's a little weird. You don't even have to say that. You can just stop talking to him because y'all not nothing to each other yet. And
Ghost him.
so ghost him, right? And so, just ask. I don't really think it's that complicated. I don't think it has to be. I think the fact that you wrote in asking that makes
We appreciate it.
we definitely appreciate it. Yes. But it makes me believe that you may not be super comfortable with just asking direct questions. And so if that is not your expertise and it's not something you're comfortable with, this could be an opportunity for growth in that area. And just ask what's going on. It could be so many different things. It could be so many different things. And I don't think you should put off drug dealer on this man just because you are unsure of what his profession is.
Oh God, I think that is hilarious. Um, but yes, I do think it is important to practice asking the questions that you want to know the answers to, for sure. And just like he may have a question for you that you may not be willing to share that information at that moment. I mean, that's very possible in so many different scenarios. So it's not an end all be all if he chooses not to answer that question. But like Ava said, you've got to make that choice. That's what everything comes down to is this something, okay, I'm willing to accept, I'm fine with it, or is it a non-negotiable for you? And you go from there. And then you're the only person that can answer that question for yourself. So a suggested way to do that is simply what Ava said. Hey, what do you do for a living? For me, if you want to tee it up, tee it up. Talk about yourself, share, and allow the floor to be open for him to share as well and pose a question or conversation starter that could lead to that. And, see what you get. Either one could possibly work, either one could not work. But ultimately, sis, you got to make that decision on if it's a non negotiable for you.
And I think you need to be ready for whatever his answer is.
Absolutely, because his answer could be drug dealer.
It could be, or it could be something else. We don't know, but you got to be ready. So it may be some professions you're not really cool with dealing with outside of drug dealer. It could be other things. So you just got to be ready, for whatever is coming.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Well, we hope this helps, sis. I hope we were able to give you some advice, give you a way to ask if you weren't sure on how to ask about this young man's profession. And I hope that if you are able to do it and you get an answer, please feel free. Let us know. We would love to fill in the viewers. We would love to just know for ourselves because I am quite interested on what old buddy does for a living. But nonetheless, we thank you for contacting us, and please feel free if you have any questions or you have any topics that you would like for us to share. We would definitely love to do that. You can DM us on Instagram, write us a message on Facebook, or you can email us at theblackmillennialwife@gmail.com.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, and just be on the lookout for our next episode on Friday. Thanks.